Hi, my name is Christina Molivar, and I believe that life is a succession of circumstances, coincidences, and opportunities. These choices define our destiny.
They manifest themselves in many different ways through situations, places, people who inspire us, or causes that touch us deeply and move us to action. These last few years, thanks to my work with my two NGOs, Women on a Mission and Her Planet Earth, I've had the great privilege of taking all-female teams on challenging, often pioneering expeditions that really pushed them outside of their comfort zone. We've run expeditions to some incredible places, from the Arctic Circle to Antarctica. We've crossed the largest caves in the world in Vietnam. We've sailed across remote islands in Asia and climbed many, many mountains in the Himalayas, in Mongolia, in Iceland, and more recently in North Kenya. And all these expeditions have had for mission to raise awareness and funds for vulnerable women.
As we all know, climate change is the most critical challenge facing humanity today. In this International Women's Day, I would like to talk to you about why empowering women and girls can help solve the climate change crisis, a topic that is very close to my heart. Despite the fact that climate change is a global phenomenon, the effects are really felt locally, and poor people suffer the most. In all the chaos surrounding the news about climate change, gender often remains the untold story behind it all.
Yet in many countries, women are amongst the most vulnerable to climate change and environmental degradation. They are hit the hardest, partly because they make up the larger share of the agricultural workforce and tend to have access to fewer income-earning jobs. Today, the statistics show that of the 1.3 billion poor people around the world, the majority are women. The good news is that empowering, supporting, and educating women is a very good way to mitigate climate change, especially when we help women build livelihoods that are eco-friendly and compatible and in harmony with nature.
The Paris Agreement, ratified by 185 countries, already recognizes this and makes the link between climate change, human rights, poverty eradication, and sustainable development. It also acknowledges the importance of gender equality and women's empowerment and calls for climate action to be gender responsive. I am convinced that if we make progress on gender equality, we will be able to mitigate climate change significantly, and here are 3 key ways to do that.
The first is to empower women farmers. In many countries, local laws and biases result in women farmers having fewer resources and support from their governments. It makes it very difficult for them to run their farms efficiently, and this results in lower yields, which leads humans to cut forests to create more agricultural land to grow more crops to feed the world's growing population. Instead of clear-cutting forests, why not work to make the existing farms run by women more efficient? Environmentalists such as Catherine Wilkinson, one of the leaders on Project Drawdown, have come to the conclusion that if we increase women's farm yields, this could stop about 2 billion tons of CO2 from entering the atmosphere between now and 2050.
The second is to give women more access to family planning and education. Both education and family planning are basic human rights, not yet a reality for too many women around the world. Today, 130 million school-aged girls are not in classrooms.
Education means better health, financial security, more capacity to tackle a climate-changing world. Women with more education have fewer children, and the children that they do have are healthier. Their agricultural plots are more productive, while their families are also better nourished. The UN estimates universal education could be the #1 solution to reversing global warming, resulting in an emission reduction of 59.6 gigatons by 2050.
Clearly, education is a huge part of this equation. And the third is to build more eco-friendly livelihood opportunities for women. And this is exactly what my team and I at Her Planet Earth and Women on a Mission have been focused on these last few years. We have raised awareness and funds, a combined amount of close to $1.5 million to date, via our expeditions and events to support the work of our charity partners around the world. And as a result, we have directly impacted the lives of hundreds of women and girls and indirectly impacted thousands more.
Proving once again, as Greta Thunberg says so well, that we are never too small to make a difference. What is becoming increasingly apparent and powerful is the recognition that women are not only one of the most vulnerable groups when it comes to climate change, but we are a huge part of the solution. And I believe with a strong conviction that women are in fact game changers with knowledge and solutions to move the needle on sustainability. So it's important that we continue to empower women and girls all over the world to be policymakers and agents of change.
So if you remember one thing from this short video, I hope it is that women and girls are the secret weapon to tackling the climate change crisis. And when given a choice, please support, empower, invest in, and champion women and girls wherever you go, so that our planet has a better chance to thrive and survive in the long term. Thank you and happy International Women's Day.